Alright guys, so pretty much my entire life I've wanted a lever action 357 Magnum rifle. And back when I was about 20, you was able to get the Winchester Model 94 for literally $279. And I'll never forget standing in Academy's gun section, and I was trying to decide whether I wanted a Glock 19 or the Winchester Model 94. The 16-inch, I can't remember if it was the Wrangler or the Trapper. But I ended up choosing the Glock 19. I still have it to this day. It's still, I think you can get them for about $400 to $500. The Winchester you can't get no more. If you find one, it's used, and it's over $1,000 easy. So I regret making that decision. I should have bought the Winchester. So for a year I've been trying to find a Henry Model X in 357, and I finally got one. So I'm gonna need some advice on a couple things I want to do to this gun, and I need some feedback as to whether, because one of the things I'm having a hard time deciding exactly what I want to do. But let's get this thing out of the plastic here and let's take a look at it. Of course, what you see in the box is what you get. It did have a lock, safety lock. I've already thrown that in the trash. Of course, got your certification, all that good stuff. So the one thing about Henry that I really started, now I've got a Henry 22 Golden Boy, and I love that rifle. I mean, the fit and finish is about as good as it gets. But on a large bore rifle, the one thing that to me you probably kind of need is a side gate. I don't want to be loading 5 to 6, I can't remember if this is a 6 or a 7 round gun, but you know, you go through those pretty quick. So I don't want to have to be pulling this tube out each and every time to drop rounds into it. I want to be able to load it through the side gate. And Henry started about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, they started making some of their rifles with side gates, and this Model X is one of them. Now, this gun is unloaded, by the way, just to give you an idea of how the bolt looks, in case you're thinking of getting one. Top of the receiver, the ejection port, very nice gun. I like the loop. It's not overly large, but it's not the thin, you know, the thin one where you don't have a, you know, nice roomy, you know, lever to stick your entire hand in. The stock is plastic. Got a nice rubber recoil pad that says Henry on it. Well, on the little pistol grip area, got a cowboy. The forearm is plastic. Got a little rail up here so you can attach a light or whatever. Of course, you got your tube that comes out, locks in. Of course, like I was saying, that's the alternate way that you can load. Now, this has got a fiber optic sight set up. Let me see if I can kind of show you those. See if I can get down here. Hopefully you can kind of see that. It just gathers light, you know, from the top as the light goes in, then it kind of reflects here on the end of it. Kind of a nice setup. They do make mounts to where you can mount a rail up top here, and you can mount an optic, a scope, or whatever. So you do have that option. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about before I get into what I'm planning on doing with this rifle? And I need some guidance from you guys. Of course, it is a matte finish. It's not, I don't think this is bluing. I think this is Parkerized. The barrel and the magazine tube may be blued, but I think since this is kind of a flat finish on the receiver, I want to say that's parkerized instead of blued. Not 100% sure about that, but the one thing that they could have probably improved on is this fit right here into this plastic stock. You can kind of up here, it's not too bad, but once you get back here, you can kind of see how it's kind of really sunk down in there. Now that's probably not going to be a problem much longer, and I'll tell you why here in just a minute. In fact, I'll show you right now. This is my first modification that I want to do to this gun. Got a box here. What's in the box, you say? Well, Henry sells the wood forearm and stock for this. Yeah, I think that's the way that would go. And then you got to have, and I'll put the part numbers to these in the description, because you got to have all this stuff for it to work. Of course, that's going to go right there. I'm just kind of an old school guy. I think wood is just, especially on a lever action, you know, it's just nicer than plastic, especially when you got this nice checkering that you don't see a whole lot of anymore. You know, a lot of rifles now, even the ones that come with wood stocks, they're just smooth. They don't bother checkering it because it obviously costs money. Back in the old days, if you bought a rifle, it more than likely was going to have checkering on it. And this is a kit that you buy. The only you got the stock, the forearm, and then you got to buy this separately, which I think that was only like $7 or $8 or something. But I'll put links. This is straight from Henry. This isn't aftermarket. This is actually Henry sourced and manufactured stock. So that's the first mod I'm going to do, is make this a wood gun. Which I think is going to make it look a lot better. Of course, this is going to be gone. I'll never mount anything to that, which comes to my next modification that I'm thinking about doing, and this is where I want some advice, because I don't know exactly what I want to do with this. Now, one of the nice things about this particular lever action that you may or may not have noticed was the threaded barrel. And obviously one of the reasons people would buy this is for the threaded barrel. That's just a thread protector, so you got a threaded barrel to where you can screw on a suppressor or a flash hider or whatever. Now, to be honest, I don't see myself ever doing that. I might. So what I was thinking about doing was shortening this barrel up, moving the sight back, shortening the barrel either flush with the end of the magazine tube, or going ahead and leaving about 5/8 and threading the end of it, so that I can still, if I ever decide to put a flash hider or a suppressor on it, I have that option. Even though today I don't see myself ever doing that, and I would like the barrel as short as possible, down to the 16 inches, which is another thing we're about to do, is measure this barrel. They claim this is a 17.4 inch barrel. So I'm guessing that the end of this magazine tube is right at 16 inches. Because I'm thinking that's probably about 1.5 inches or so from here to the end. We're going to measure this barrel just to see how much I would have to machine off here to get it flush, or to thread and just leave just enough sticking out to where I can go ahead and screw on an accessory. Of course, that would mean I'm going to have to take this side off and move it back, you know, back here or something. But let's measure this barrel real quick just to see if their advertised claim is accurate. I wish it would have just been 16 inches and just had that already sticking out. 17.4. I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't have just went 16 and put a flash hider on it. So the proper way to measure the length of any barrel per the ATF is with the action closed, the bolt rather closed. Take a dowel and you stick it in the barrel until it bottoms out. Take you a piece of tape or a marker and then mark it. Pull it out, measure from that end to where the tape is, and that's how long the barrel legally is. A lot of people will go to the right here to the receiver. So let's just measure first to the receiver and to the end of the barrel. And that's showing 16.5 inches. When in reality, and right there you see 17, it's right at 17.4 inches. Just what Henry advertises. So I can actually take off almost 1.5 inches. If I took off like 1 1/8 inches, that would leave me about 1/8 of an inch or so. Actually, a little bit better. I could actually take off 1 1/4 inches. But I don't know if I want to keep a threaded section or just make it pretty much flush with no threads at all. Anyway, and, you know, put like an 11 degree crown on it. Anyway, give me y'all's comments. What do you think? Should I leave some threaded section? Should I not touch it? Should I shorten it but leave enough threaded section to where I can screw something on? Or should I just go ahead and make it flush and get rid of the threads altogether? Because remember, whenever the wood stocks on here, it's going to stop to about right here, just after where these screws are. So shortening it up would just make it look that much better. Anyways, this video is just about, you know, giving you kind of a close-up look at the gun itself, in case you're interested in a lever action rifle. And like I say, the one nice thing about Henry is I started putting side gates on a lot of their guns. That was a turnoff for me. I always liked the way Henrys were built, but I just couldn't pull myself to get a large caliber and have to drop them in a magazine tube like a 22. It's one thing if you've got 18 rounds of 22 in the tube, you know, you can plink 18 times before you have to refill it. But 6 or 7 rounds or less, if it's a 30-30 or whatever, and you've got a 16-inch barrel, you know, that gun's only going to hold maybe 4 rounds. Nope, sorry about hitting the camera. Anyway, we're pretty much done. I'll give you a look at the top of that sight and the top of that one. I'm out. You guys take care.